Look, people record their videos, and I think there's a lot of conversation of people should just maybe not, or if you do it with your wife, do it with somebody who hopefully it's very unlikely it's going to go out into the world, because all of these celebrities and people having sex tapes, I just don't understand how in this day and age, 2023, it keeps happening. It's like you want it to happen, right? I don't know how it happens, or why don't you do it, record it, watch it, and then delete it? But anyways, right? People have their interests. So he's recording himself having sexual intercourse with people that are not his girlfriend, his wife. It's really interesting. He has it on his phone. She watches it. So I don't understand the level of hate and criticism. I haven't seen many, but I'm sure there are videos of her that are like that. People are using titles like she's the real villain. I think a lot of that's for clickbait, but some people might genuinely believe that actually she's the real villain, and her talk, her podcast, her interview vindicates Derrick Jaxn. People are very weird. People are different. So the reason I'm saying all of this is because it's very easy to give a online dissertation. Even me sitting here, I can give an online dissertation, but I am not her. I am not going back to her kids. I'm not facing what she has to face. And I think it's really important that we understand that human beings, particularly on social media, how they show up themselves, it's fluff. It's very fluffy, because people will say things and then take it back. There are people, which I'm really glad they did. Half of the comments that I saw was saying, "We judge you too quickly. I'm so sorry." And it just shows you we can be so premature in making judgments and making statements and making denouncements. And we don't want to hear the full side. We want to hear a side and that's it. Now, of course, it would be good to hear his side, potentially, because there is his side to it as well. But he's also given his side. So hearing what, for me, maybe I need to hear his side. Like, we heard his side in 2021. We heard his side, really and truly. She more reacted and was more like saying things that people felt were a bit crazy, and it just showed that she was unraveling. But we've already heard his, I don't know what more side. To me, we hear his side every single day he posts a video. He's showing you that he's a con artist. So that's it. So yes, I think it's good to hear his side, but it's not like I don't need to hear his side. In this case, I'm not the jury, not the judge, but it's quite simple what he's doing. He's divorced his wife, and he wants to do what he wants. And he, of course, is going to regret it. He is doing what many, not only men, women, people do, where they basically make a really stupid decision and will later regret it. Now, it probably is the best thing for her, because she wasn't going to divorce him. That's what's one. I don't think many people clock that she would not have divorced him. So though she's healing and growing, in one sense, he's forced her to do that because he pulled the plug on the marriage. Okay, let me actually play a video, because you're just hearing me speak.
What did that do to you?
I became a shell of myself. I didn't know who I was. I actually have a couple posts on my page where I have a post that says, "I knew her body better than I knew my own."
Stop. Let that sit there. You said you knew another woman's body better than you knew your own.
Yes, several women. I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. And I spent a lot of time, like I went in such a deep hole where I was like studying these women. I would go to their profiles and I would study their pages and like what they wear. I knew when they had met up. So I watched their videos of them having sex. So I would try to imitate that and recreate that in our relationships so that he could choose me and want me. And that is a low point to be. And I'm tearing up a little bit because I hate that I even got to a point where that was a thing, but that it was just that. And so I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. I completely lost myself. I became a shell of myself. I tried to imitate their hair, their actions, even sexual things that I had seen him doing with them. I tried to recreate that in our life when we were engaged, and none of it amounted to anything.
So powerful. So powerful. So that was actually the video, I guess it went viral, you could say. That was a really good promotion for it. I would say, if I'm not mistaken, I don't watch their future wifey often, but that probably would be one of his fastest watched videos, because the amount of videos the first video has got is nearly 500,000. And Derrick Jaxn has not posted and has is it discontinued or restricted his comments? He hasn't posted, but on his current post that he had before the podcast came out, he restricted the comments. You know, what do you say? When you see that, she articulated what a lot of women have done before. So what a lot of women do, but have not put it in words, because it's not something you just say, yeah, you know, that person, my partner cheated and I'm trying to copy, you know, no. But this is what happens when you deal with levels of betrayal. You know, this sometimes can happen if a father abandons you for another family. You start to look at the family, and you might even be competing secretly with the family, or competing with the children in the family. You think, how, you know, especially as the child of being abandoned, thinking, so you left me for them. You're not seeing it that he left mummy. You're like, well, you left me because you chose another family instead of me. Especially if you're the first family as well. You know, that's really difficult. You start to compare yourself. You might be secretly competing. And a lot of people that will watch this can attest that they've secretly competed with half brothers and sisters. That's why polygamy is, I think, a big issue, and it's probably one of the things that affect a lot of African countries, because you can't trust. Well, you can't even trust your full brothers and sisters, but you can't trust your half brothers and sisters, because it's usually a different mother that raised them, a different mother that's angry, envious about your mother, you know, or the other mothers, you know, all trying to seek attention of this man who's put them together, and all of the children are not getting equal shares of the man. They can't, because there's too many kids, too many mothers, too many interests, too many personalities. So she is saying that she would watch. We don't know exactly how she gets these videos. When I say how, well, we can allude to the fact that it seems like she watches it without his knowing. So she goes into his phones and he's recorded videos. So that means, look, people record their videos, and I think there's a lot of conversation of people should just maybe not, or if you do it with your wife, do it with somebody who hopefully it's very unlikely it's going to go out into the world, because all of these celebrities and people having sex tapes, I just don't understand how in this day and age, 2023, it keeps happening. It's like, you want it to happen, right? I don't know how it happened, or why don't you do it, record it, watch it, and then delete it? But anyways, right? People have their interests. So he's recording himself having sexual intercourse with people that are not his girlfriend, his wife. It's really interesting. He has it on his phone. She watches it. She literally watches it having sex. So assuming that it could be in this position, it could be in the position where, like, it's crazy. Because for someone to record them having sex, then see it fully, it means he's put his phone in the position either on a stand, or on a selfie stand, or back in the day, it'll be on a table, to angle it so you can watch it, to then watch yourself back. It really, I think majority of people don't record themselves. They are in the experience. They enjoyed the experience. They need to record it. So the fact that he recorded himself is telling. It's telling. Then she watches it and then tries to recreate stuff in the bedroom, to the point where she said in another video that he sleeps with many women, but he does have a big preference for dark skin. And one of her daughters is dark skin, and she found it difficult because she felt the daughter came in the preference of the women that he normally likes, which is so deep, right? Normally it's the other way around. You know, normally it's like, you know, the light skinned mother and the dark skinned daughter, isn't it? Or even a dark skinned mother and dark skinned daughter. So the area of her, she's not light skinned, but she's lighter shaded than her daughter, is interesting. And I haven't experienced it, but I know a lot of daughters have experienced not being liked by their mums. I think we don't talk about this enough, but a lot of children know, and growing up with their parents not liking them, especially their mothers, being envious of them. You remind me of your dad. So because I remind you of daddy and daddy wasn't good to you, you take it out on me, or you don't treat me well, which is really sad. And I don't understand how I can blame my child for anything somebody else does. But people's psychology is broken. People's mindsets are broken. So it means that you can look at your daughter and begin to despise your daughter. It's crazy, right? You can, I'm not just talking about her, I'm just talking about in general. You can look at yourself, be so broken, because DaNaia is a beautiful woman. I saw that she was beautiful from the get-go. So it's not now everyone's like, oh, she's pretty. And it's like, you know, we sometimes need to go past the wildness. Like if you saw me like this one day, right? How many people could see past just a crazy hairstyle? It's weird. It shows you that we take information, which is true. We discriminate quite quickly from what we see, and then we make those judgments without taking the full picture in. And I think that it shows you the level of brokenness DaNaia was already in, that she then projected. Yeah, she had like, I might say body dysmorphia, but kind of this dysmorphia of she couldn't see herself, but could only see herself through the eyes of the woman that he was sleeping with. And she could never satisfy him because he was never satisfied. And she herself was never satisfied because she wasn't being herself. She was trying to be all of these other women. And it's such a powerful thing because it happens. More women that are watching this, more women that they care to admit do this and continue to do this. When the Bible talks about adultery, because of how much, the reason why one of the biggest betrayals ever is, this is a perfect example. Welcome whoever's joined. I don't know who's joined. Hey, put a comment if you can. The reason why cheating is such a painful thing, because it literally tears at the fabric of the core. The core of a relationship is trust. When you commit adultery, when you cheat, when you have an affair, when you step out, you tear at the fabric of trust. And because trust is an indelible component to function as a human being, right? Human beings that do not trust do not function. That's why we have something called psychosis. When you feel that everybody's out here to attack you, you don't trust people. It is very dysfunctional to live that way. I've got clients that I've worked with that do not trust to the point where they don't leave their house, where it will take them an hour to go from A to B, that's 10 minutes, because they are worried, they are suspect, they go back on themselves. Yeah, that's an extreme. Yeah, when I say extreme, I mean that's on a spectrum of severity. But the point is that when you break trust in a person, they don't trust themselves, they don't trust how they are perceived in the world, they don't trust other people, that is mental illness. So when you're in a relationship, let's just talk romantically, but it could be mother and father, so it could be mother to child, sibling to sibling. When trust is broken, right, it can be so irrevocable that you are unable to relate with the person because a part of you has gone. When you have an affair, you take a part of the person away. So that analogy makes sense. And that's why it's hard for people to repair from affairs. So you have to be broken. You have to feel that you deserve it. You have to just accept being a doormat to even maintain and be delusional. There's a level of delusion when you allow cheating because you're living a lie. There's no trust, but you are okay with lack of trust because it's better than anything, right? So you stay. You sustain a relationship that is faulty and that is broken because of many reasons, for the children, for the sake of reputation, many different factors. So that was powerful.